Okay, good morning. Home office this morning. So, let me just see if this is working. Tis it is. Awesome. Okay. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. Good morning, Mother. So yeah, I'm working from home for the first part of the day today, and then going into the office this afternoon, which means I'll probably be graced by Parker at some point, because that's typically what he likes to do. So I've been listening Home with George today. Yes. Jefferson. Let's go with Jefferson, Matt. I've been reading a book, and I'm pulling it up, called The Big Leap. Patrick Costello had mentioned this to me, by Gay Hendricks. And it's actually very interesting. It's a lot of it is about finding your upper limit. And then, for a lot of people, how would you explain like an upper limit problem would be, you consistently pull yourself back down. Like, think of people who win the lottery. So, typically people who win the lottery, they don't stay multimillionaires. Statistically, they end up usually more broke than they are. Another way to look at it is, a lot of times, like if I'm making $10 an hour and I'm scraping to get by, one of the things I'll be, if I could get a job where I could make some more money, I could finally put some more in savings, I could pay off some of these bills, blah, 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 blah. But then what happens is we start getting more money, and then all of a sudden we start spending more money. So that's an upper limit problem. So you have to learn to accept those upper limits and say, okay, I'm approaching that upper limit, and instead of bringing myself back down, I want to stay at that limit, and I want to be an expert at that upper limit. So one of the things that in the book that they talk about is Einstein time. And he talks about time is something that we control. And a lot of times, oftentimes, all of the time, we feel that we are kind of like a slave to time, instead of really like we have to make time work for us instead of us work for time. An easy example of that is, you ask someone to do something and they're like, oh, I just don't have time to do that. Or I'm so busy, I don't know how I'm going to fit that in. Instead of, thinking of it in the other dynamic of, all right, how can I manage? And really it goes back to time management. How can I manage my time more effectively to make sure I can hit on all of these levels, right? So an example that he used in the book, and I thought this was really, really good, is you're in your office, and we're going to pretend you're working on something in your office. Okay, so you're at your office, your home office. I'm here at the house, and I'm working on meal plans, and I'm writing training plans. And one of the boys comes in, Jerry comes in and says, Dad, I want to play catch. And I say, son, Jerry, I really don't have time right now. I got to get this done, for my boss, blah, blah, blah. We've all said that. We've all told our kids, sorry, I don't have time to do that right now. Dad, will you play Legos with me? No, I've got to finish this project. I don't have time right now. Right? Someone's outside the door. Parker? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe it's George, Matt. Matt, our inside joke here from Matt is he's calling Stella George because Stella spent a week at Cornell, and we used a lot of. Which one are you?
Jerry.
Do you guys want to see Jerry? Jerry, the crowd says, of course. Get your fluffy little nutter butter in here. Watch out. I'm opening the door. Sneak in before Parker finds you.
Look. Papa, I put animal stickers all over the salmon sticker.
Okay, well, we're live. Come here. You get to talk about time. We're talking about time and a lack thereof it. Let's lower this. How about you stand up? There. Stand on the chair in a safe manner. So, this is Jerry. Hook him like a fish. That's his salmon. We got from, where'd we get that?
From Fat Nancy's.
Not to be confused with?
With what?
I'm just kidding. All right, so when we're talking about time, we've all said that to our kids. We've all said, guys, Jerry, I just don't have time to play catch right now. And then Jerry leaves all sad and disappointed. Now, 2 seconds later, if Parker walks in and says, Dad, Jerry stabbed me with a pen and I'm bleeding, you'd immediately go over and help him. So now you do have time. So that's this little time dynamic of, it's not that you didn't have time to catch with Jerry. It's that you didn't want to use yours to play catch with Jerry. So when we look at it from that perspective, we now can change our outlook and say, okay, so how can I prioritize my time to make everything to become more efficient? They both occupy the same amount of time, but in the second example, you immediately react with, okay, I can help. So I want you to think about that when, just in general. So like when you're sitting in your office and the kids do come in, how can you find that time? Because then again, one day in the future, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, boy, when the kids were here, what more could I have done to spend time with them when I had it, right? So is it what is the most paramount important thing at that moment? And maybe it is getting that project done for work. Or could you put that project off for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, go do something with your family or your kids, play catch, whatever, and then come back to that? Or do you have to say, you know what, let me work for another 20 minutes. Let me finish this train of thought for 20 minutes, and then we're going to go play catch for 20 minutes. And here's how I'm going to balance that out. But that is one of those pieces where when we look at those upper limit problems, we can start to see, like, where do I consistently hold myself back? And again, I always say that we don't want to live in a world of regret and turn around and say, I wish I had more time. I wish I had this. Well, if you wish you had that, then make that, and that's one of those things, like with this 75 hard, one of the things that I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, I don't know how I'm going to fit in this second workout once school starts again, because I've got, it's going to be this, and this. And it's like, but she's using the foresight now to think of like, okay, how am I going to make it work? Well, maybe it's that I'm going to have to get up, she already gets up at 4, and it's like, knock out that 45 minutes on the bike in the morning and then get ready, go to work. And then as soon as you get done with school or your lunch break, you're utilizing that second workout and, making sure that you're able to get that time in. So again, it's time management is from the perspective of, going and getting, sitting down and maximizing your efficiency while looking to, create a happy balance. And again, not limiting yourself to say, I wish I had more time. Say that. Utilize your time as effective as possible, and you will have no regrets. That's it for today, folks. Thursday. It looks like it's a beautiful day. I got my boys in Hoffa with us this morning. I think they're probably gonna play outside. I hope.
Green Lakes.
Going to Green Lakes. Oh boy. So I'll talk to you cats tomorrow. Have a great day and enjoy this beautiful fall-like weather.